Hello everyone. Today we are here with Vitaly, Aviation software. Hi Vitaly, how are you?
Nice to meet you. All good?
So before proceeding, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey within the industry?
Yeah, so I'm founder and CEO of Awery Software. We started now 16 years ago, and now we work with more than 130 customers worldwide. We are a team of more than 90 people. Originally, we are a Ukrainian-based company, and most of our team are Ukrainians. Currently, we provide solutions for different air cargo partners, and we work with airlines, we work with Cargo GSA, with airports as a ground handling solution. We work also with onboard couriers, charter brokers, and so on. So everybody is actually now as an ecosystem for the air cargo management.
What do you identify as the most significant cybersecurity threats currently facing the global air cargo supply chain? And how does the company prepare for or mitigate these threats?
I think its threat is that digital, you can steal digital the same way as you do now physical, correct?
Right.
And sometimes we see the companies who are using a lot of legacy software or some systems which are not really protected. They may be real exposure to the risk, and that risk is more also not only like reputation, but it's a real financial risk and also their ability to cooperate and work with their customers, correct? So everyone is affected. What I think now, there is also much deeper understanding of all of the companies about security risk, and we see a lot of investment, and also the technology itself is more ready now. So for example, if you was using your PC like 10, 15 years ago, yeah, you just maybe use antivirus, whatever, but nothing was so much encrypted or secured. Nowadays, all the email communication, all the internet traffic, and a lot of applications, they basically will not work if they're not quite secure to process it, correct? Like even like if you want to host a website,
Right.
if it doesn't have SSL certificate, it will not work. And what I see, what we did as well as a company, so we now passed SOC 2 Type 2 certification, which is quite strict, means like you have a really secure system and you have all the processes which supposed to help with the security. We also did ISO 2701 security certification of the company. So we really can understand from the multiple angles, not only like from IT side, but also operational side, how to provide and how to manage security levels on the proper level. And on top of it, as Awery, we also now got separate cybersecurity insurance. So even if any of our customers will be affected by kind of breaches and issues, it will be insured and secured.
Given the recent rise in cargo theft incidents globally, how does Avery integrate cybersecurity practices with physical cargo theft prevention?
So I mean, usually physical cargo theft would be on the way to airport or inside the warehouse or at the delivery point. So it's not actually so much that airline is controlling the whole scope where it is kind of unsecured. But I think nowadays with using the new system, so using, for example, Avery in this case, the customers have a bit better control or better visibility, correct? So even like, for example, using mobile apps, you can take a picture of the photo, you can take the picture of damage. Before it goes to the ULD, you can do like verification and so on. So actually, like there's a lot of steps where it's not like written somewhere on the paper where you can just replace the paper. It's already digitized and it helps to be more secure this way.
So, how do digitalization initiatives in air cargo influence the attack surface of cyber threats? How does the company design its system for minimize risk?
Yeah, so there's a concept which is called like zero trust. So you basically by default system should be like the way designed that there is no trust to anyone, to any connection or anything, and then you just open it based on what is required. So I think that should be the key concept of how it goes. They use this zero trust policy. So everything is blocked, everything is cross-checked, and all the access is logged, and so you can basically trace back everything what's happening. And also it helps to prevent possibility of like theft or unauthorized data. But also on this point, I think like with all the studies, there is one point where it's not like that the systems are not safe and secure. It's a lot of times, I think I read a good study, it's more than 96%, it was still human involved in the process. So either like didn't store the password well, or he shared his own password to one system, which allows them to go to the other system and go process it. I would say that now the systems are quite secured, but you also need to educate and have this change management on the people mindset and explain and understand like what are the possible issues, correct, and how to protect your own data and your own access.
So, in your view, what are the primary vulnerabilities in typical GSE, GSSs, ground handlers, and freight forwarders that cyber attackers exploit? And how can software platforms such as your company have raised the baseline security posture?
So I think the main threats of getting the access to the data. Second threat is like sometimes hackers, when they access to the data, they encrypt it, and basically airline, or in this case aviation customers, they will lose control of their data, and the only option is to pay the ransomware
Right.
or to restore system from backups. So that's a real risk, and usually for the big carriers, even like 1 day downtime of all their like cargo management system, it will be really costly exercise, correct? So sometimes they might be able to pay this ransomware, but I think the better way is not to let it happen. Right?
So, how does companies' commitment to standards such as Cargo IQ and ITAS 1 record influence its cybersecurity strategy? And how do you ensure that data sharing doesn't compromise security?
Yeah. So again, back to the same principle, like zero trust. By default, I think it's like everything is in control in a way where if something is shared through API, or even this data is limited. So like when you provide access to any third-party system, it doesn't mean like you open the whole thing. You only open the items which need to be done for that specific integration or for this data sharing. And we are trying to support like Cargo IQ and One Record. I think One Record is a really good way of idea to have one standard how in which format you share the data and the process how the data is shared, and also this concept of one source of truth where you don't have different fields data on different systems. And also in terms of security, I think a lot of data which is required is operational data. Yeah, and that's not so much issues with sharing it. And I think airlines and parties involved, they're also getting more and more understanding that this data is okay to be shared because it brings efficiency. And of course, commercial data is a different subject.
So, as a company develops digital platforms across airlines, GSAs, brokers, and forwarding networks, how do you balance the need for accessibility, transparency, and collaboration with the imperative of restricting unauthorized access or data breaches?
Yeah, so for the controlling the data breaches and authorized access, again, zero level trust by default. And second one is to use up-to-date technologies which allows you to protect the data. So again, it's like SSL, TLS encryption, encryption on transfer, encryption on storage. We also have this process where we review access of the users. So for example, it can be quarterly or yearly, or even sometimes it's even more frequent. It depends on the type of the data. And the second process is that you should give users only the data or visibility they need to get access, and that's really what we're trying to have a controls in Awery or in cargo booking system, where it's like, because a very granular level, who can see and who can do what.
Like, what kind of challenges do you see and to implement these kind of solutions with the airlines and GSAs?
Yeah, it's more change management and to explaining people like that this data is valuable and it's very valuable. Unauthorized third party will get access to it. But I think all the recent cases which happened in the cybersecurity space is already, how to say, this learning curve for the users to understand the importance of this and to implement all the measures to prevent any kind of data breaches, unauthorized access, or anything which can expose the data.
So, looking ahead, what emerging technologies, or for example, AI, machine learning, anomaly detection, blockchain, or IoT sensors, do you believe will have the greatest impact on reducing both cyber attack risk and physical cargo theft? How is the company planning to incorporate them?
Yeah, we are working. So we have a projects where, for example, we are doing a lot of pharma, digitizing the pharma movements of the from the booking pharma till the whole process of track and trace and delivery. So yeah, I think like IoT is the next step. In if we're talking about physical, correct? So you can know what is
Right.
where is your cargo, where it was seen last, and see if there is any anomalies and be acted immediately. On the digital space, new technologies are really more and more secured. It's getting harder and harder to get unauthorized access or to have the data breaches. You always need to invest more and more in that specific phase. So I would say like this kind of compliance with all the security regulations and requirements is being a really important part of any operation. So it doesn't matter is it airline, is it GSA, is it freight forwarder. I think everyone knows the importance of it.
I think that is all. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Sohesh, for some time. Thank you.